So I'm starting to think that Stellaris has a RNG problem. Well, not really a RNG problem, more like a it can happen problem. This Stellaris it can happen problem kind of came face to where I realized that in one of my gameplay um, playthroughs, there's an AI empire that they just don't form covenants with the Shroud. They can do it, the AI can do it, but more than likely it's not. Now, this whole problem is more so stemming off of the AI just being bad more than it can happen. But also another probability factor is also the RNG, which is the main thing I want to talk about, at least in this first part, is Stellaris' RNG percentage. Now, Stellaris' RNG percentage, I'm not going to say is terribly bad. At some points, it actually does benefit the game. You know, having rare events and rare things actually does give more life to the game of something actually rare happening to you. You kind of feel like an achievement. But in most cases, and I feel like especially with the AI and what they can do, it really hinders the game. And nothing's more prevalent than like it hindering the game than it comes with the Shroud and AI trying to take a Shroud Covenant. Now, with the AI even making a Shroud Covenant, I'm not even just talking about like this making one with the end of the cycle. Like, I know the end of the cycle and how that can fire and the Reckoning is so incredibly rare. Still think is a little bit more rare than what it should happen. Still think that's kind of stupid. I'm not sure how stuff is with the Shadows of the Shroud, but at least with the console version with a 3.12, I think that we're on or somewhere around there. Um, the AI making a covenant within the cycle is still very rare, but I still think it's stupid. But we're not even just talking about end of the cycle. This regular Shroud, this patrons, I guess you could say, that the AI just, they will have the right zero, they will have the energy, they'll have everything that they'll need, but they just will not, or at least very rarely will do, form a covenant with either Whispers of the Void, Eater of Worlds, Animator or Clay. They just will not form covenants with the Shroud entities. And nothing's more prevalent with that. I really noticed that, especially when I had to fight Satana. And the AI Empire just will not make a form of covenant with the Animator or Clay to try to lock Satana up, which I guess is maybe, I guess again, this is more so a paradox issue with their AI, with the AI just not being intelligent enough to actually form a covenant and do all the things to then seal Zatanna. I guess it's more of a player thing to do. But if you're not a psionic empire, that's just not going to work. But even that's beside the point. They just will not, even though they have the right zero, they will not form a covenant with any of the Shroud gods, even though they can and they relatively should do that. It goes along with the whole psionic path and the whole aesthetic, quote unquote, with their empire, but they will not. And that's just only the tip of the iceberg of how Stellaris' RNG, or it can happen, or these things can happen, really hinders the game. Another case I want to talk about where the game really hinders itself with the it can happen but probably won't happen scenarios is more than likely the Galactic Imperium. Now, what is the Galactic Imperium? Mainly the Galactic Imperium, if I was to reference something, think of it as like the Galactic Empire or the Galactic Senate in Star Wars, or that type of system. So with the Galactic Imperium, with the player, it's pretty easy to fire and get it going, especially if you have the right diplomatic weight. But for the AI, they will more than likely, even if they have the right ethics, the authoritarian ethics, will not pick the Galactic Imperium, even though in some instances it's more imperative for them to do that. Not only that, even if the AI is selected to be the Galactic Custodian, they will not even propose the right laws to even help them out just with the Galactic Custodian stuff, not even pushing towards the Galactic Imperium. They will still focus on random mundane things that in some instances actually hurt their empire, instead of actually clicking the custodian laws or get into the Galactic Imperium laws, even if they have authoritarian ethics. So with the Galactic Imperium, like, I just don't know like the whole RNG to really actually get it to where it will actually pick the Galactic Imperium without player intervention. That's another thing as well. I mean, you could probably do a player intervention, but without, the AI just will not do it whatsoever, which like I said, the chances are not zero with the whole Stellaris thing, but more than likely the AI will not do it by itself, which I think is a really big shame. And I feel like they should probably increase the odds for like the more authoritarian empires at least to click the Imperium laws, I guess you can say. The last thing I want to talk about is the galactic crises and how the AI responds to them, and also the events that also coincide with the galactic crisis and the AI response to them as well. This came to my mind when one, the AI doesn't really talk to the formless. So they'll proceed with the event to a certain point, but like at a certain point they just won't like either you have the choice to either have the formless help you or you help them or you tell them to give you the eternal throne. The AI will not make that choice. The AI will just sit there for God knows I don't know how long unless player intervention is held, which I don't get why. That's another thing that could happen. You know, the formless actually invades out and also could destroy the your empire if you choose the wrong option. But the AI won't do that. I'm guessing that's not in their code or whatnot because that's another issue with it as well. And also just a player crisis in general. The AI, if it's gonna pick one, is gonna pick the Nemesis crisis path. I have never had a playthrough where one actually picks the Cosmogenesis. And even if they would pick Cosmogenesis, the AI cannot build the lathe. Like it will not build a lathe. So that's another thing to where like why isn't this in the game? Why can't the AI do this? Or mainly stuff that like could happen, but the AI probably won't do it because with the AI it will spend its influence with either the Galactic Council or the or if they're expanding. So if they're doing either one of those things, they're not going to build the lathe. They can't build up the influence to build the lathe, which is quite unfortunate. All in all, that's kind of all I have for my little rant here with things that could happen in Stellaris that probably won't happen. I'm pretty sure there's like thousands, not even thousands. I'm capping right there. But there's a lot more things that can probably happen in Stellaris. You can classify things that it could happen. The AI could potentially do it, but will it happen? More than likely not. And if you guys have some of those, leave them down below. And also, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts of what you guys think as well. And if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. See you next time. Peace.